The crowd cheers, the lights blaze, and the perfect smiles shine bright. But behind every legend spotlight isn't just fame or followers. It's raw, relentless pain that nobody wants to see. They played the part, looked flawless, but you lived the pain that built legends. This is the story of real strength, the kind forged in silence, sweat, and sacrifice. Ready to awaken the warrior inside? Stay with me. And hey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Twist Mind for more powerful truths. They cheer the loudest for the ones on center stage, flashing smiles, flawless stories, dazzling lights. Wow, the crowd goes wild for the show, the masks, the polished faces that seem untouchable. But here's the raw truth they don't want you to see. The real warriors aren't those playing pretend. No, the real ones are the silent fighters who sweat, bleed, and wrestle with darkness when the world's back is turned. Imagine that pain, walking every step when your body screams to stop, staring down the night alone without any spotlight, without even a whisper of encouragement. While the world is busy clapping for rehearsed smiles and shallow scripts, you are locked in a battle so deep it shakes your very soul. The crowd? They don't want your tears, your failures, your struggle because it ruins their perfect fairy tale. But guess what? That journey, the one where every inch you crawled was a fight against yourself, is where legends are born. It's not about applause. It's about survival when everything inside begs you to quit. It's easy to fake it, to put on a show, but living the truth beneath the mask? That takes fierce courage, raw strength, and a heart unbreakable by doubt or fear. The world gave fame and filters to the pretenders, but you forged resilience and fire so hot, it whispers in every scar, every quiet victory, a power that refuses to break because it's been shattered before and rebuilt stronger. Oh yes, when they clapped for the surface, you were building the bedrock. When they chased images, you forged character. You weren't here to entertain the crowd. You were here to conquer your own chaos. What they call struggle, you call growth. What they call hardship, you call preparation. They may never understand your silent wars, but that will never diminish your glory. Because legends don't grow in the spotlight. They grow in the relentless grind where no one watches, where pain teaches and failure pushes you forward. So next time you see those who only play the part, smile, because you live the reality. You don't need their approval. Your strength was born where no spotlight shines. Your scars? Badges of honor. Your silent battles? The fuel of your unstoppable rise. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the storm. And that, my friend, is the truth the world will never see but can never take away. They applauded the act. You lived the legend. Comfort. Oh, what a beautiful, dangerous illusion. So many chase it, craving that soft place to land, hoping it will shield them from pain, from hardship, from the brutal truths of life. But legends? Legends laugh at comfort. They know greatness never grows in softness. No, legends are born and forged in the relentless heat of struggle, in the scorching fires of defeat and challenge where most souls crack and crumble. You didn't find your strength lounging on cushions or soaking up easy praise. No way. You earned every drop of it in sweat and tears, in those gut-wrenching moments when giving up felt like the only sane choice. Think about those nights, the ones spent wrestling with your doubts, fighting silent wars behind closed doors, without a single hand reaching out to pull you up. Those weren't setbacks, they were your battlegrounds. While others hid in safety, you boldly chose pain because you understood a truth many never will. Real power isn't gifted. It's wrestled from the deepest pits of despair, hammered and shaped by the blows life throws until it becomes unbreakable. Every scar you carry, it's not a failure. It's a blazing medal of resilience, proof you faced hell and refused to burn. You didn't just survive the fire. You learned to dance with it, to use its heat to fuel your rise. Each challenge sculpted you into someone extraordinary, someone more than just another face in the crowd. The loneliness, the discomfort, the endless nights of uncertainty. They became the raw materials shaping your destiny. While others fled storms, you stood firm, the calm in the chaos, the eye of the hurricane. The weight that tried to crush you, it became your rocket fuel, propelling you higher. In your silent suffering, you uncovered a strength few ever glimpse. Legends don't sit around waiting for luck or opportunities to knock. No, they build those doors themselves, brick by grueling brick, through sheer will, persistence, and a grit that comfort could never inspire. The cold truth? The world doesn't celebrate the safe or the easy. It honors those who dare to endure pain and push through it when every instinct screams retreat. You carried burdens no one else would bear. You stayed committed when the world turned its back. That's what sets you apart. Those legendary figures you admire, they weren't coddled or spared. Their stories are forged in hardship, sacrifice, and countless moments demanding the choice between quitting or fighting. And fight they did, over and over again. That relentless spirit made them immortal. So the next time you feel crushed by your struggles, remember this: your discomfort is your crucible. Your pain is your fiercest teacher. The fire you walk through, it's not your enemy. It's what shapes you into a legend. Comfort is a lie. Greatness is earned in the grind. You didn't fall into strength by accident. You forged it, blistered and bruised, unstoppable and blazing. That fire inside, it's not a curse. It's your greatest gift. While the world celebrates those who play the part, you were forged in fire, and legends like you, they don't burn out. They blaze, baby, they blaze. The crowd roars for the spotlight moments, the dazzling smiles, the flawless performances that seem effortless, the perfect scenes frozen in time for everyone to admire. Wow, they only see the highlight reels, the applause that shakes the walls, the glamour. But what they never see is the brutal, lonely, soul-crushing rehearsal behind the curtains. The endless hours drenched in sweat, trembling hands hiding fear, silent tears no camera ever captures, the countless failures that never make the cut. That's where your real story lives, raw and unfiltered. While the audience cheers the outcome, you were locked in battles so dark even your own reflection seemed like a stranger. You carried burdens that threatened to crush your dreams and faced fears that could paralyze the strongest souls. Yet you showed up again and again when the world wasn't watching. That, my friend, that is true strength. Not the shallow applause after success, but the raw courage to keep fighting when everything inside screams, "Give up." The crowd only celebrates the final act, but you know the harsh truth. There is no magic without the grind, no victory without struggle. The rehearsals, those hidden hours of pain and persistence, were your crucible, where you were tested, broken down, and rebuilt stronger. You wrestled with doubts that whispered poison. You can't make it. Your body begged for rest, and hope felt like a distant, fading light. Yet in that dark solitude, you forged a power far greater than fame or fleeting praise. You built a resilience so deep, it shakes the foundation of weakness itself. You survived the rehearsal that would have crushed most souls. You stood tall when your knees wanted to buckle, spoke up when your voice was cracked, smiled through the ache in your heart. That hidden battle, that relentless push when no one sees, is what separates the legends from the pretenders. While the crowd might cheer the show, the true legends live in the rehearsal, the grind, the pain, the endless persistence. When no one watches, that is when your real self shines through. The crowd doesn't witness your tears or your sacrifices, but your soul remembers. Every silent struggle became a brick in the fortress of your legacy. You didn't just prepare to perform, you prepared to conquer life itself. The cheers will fade, but the strength forged in those hidden rehearsals, that lasts forever. The world adores spectacle, but you know the rehearsal is where the real victory is won. You didn't just survive the spotlight, you survived the journey that made it possible. That quiet, relentless push in the dark, that's your unstoppable force. So keep moving, keep fighting, because while the crowd loves the show, you have already mastered the rehearsal. You're not just playing a part, you're living a legend. There's a power deeper than muscle, beyond fame or followers, something no one can steal, no one can fake. That power is the mind. Your mind, the one forged in struggle, sharpened by pain, and hardened through relentless battles, is your greatest weapon. Others might try to imitate your moves, copy your style, even mimic your words, but they can never replicate the raging storm inside you. That wildfire, that chaos, that unbreakable resilience, those are yours alone, and they make you unstoppable. Your mind became a fortress when the world tried to tear you apart. Every hardship was a lesson carved deep into your soul. Every setback a challenge you faced head-on and overcame. While the crowd chases easy wins and shallow paths, you dared to dive deep into your own thoughts, staring down fears and doubts most wouldn't dare touch. You didn't just react to life's blows. You analyzed, adapted, transformed your pain into wisdom. That mental strength, it's rare as a diamond, and it's what makes legends stand apart from the noise. They try to follow trends, but you set your own course. They repeat tired cliches, but your thoughts blaze fresh, born from the furnace of your real experience. When everyone else doubted, you learned to trust yourself. You built a mind so resilient it bends without breaking, so fierce it absorbs the worst life throws and still moves forward. That mental power isn't just survival, it's thriving. It gives you sharp clarity in chaos, fierce courage in fear, and a vision so clear even when the path disappears. The mind that no one can copy is the one that refuses comfort, craves growth, fights for meaning, and demands more than shallow success. This invisible armor holds you tall when others fall, gives you hope when others despair, and drives you to act when others freeze. You're not a copy. You are the author of your own legend. In the end, the mind is both battlefield and treasure. The fiercest wars are fought within, and the greatest victories come from conquering your own doubts and fears. Your mind is the reason you rise, the reason you survive, the reason you become truly unstoppable. No filter, no fame, no number of followers can touch it. It belongs to you alone, the secret weapon that will take you beyond anything they could imagine. You had the mind they couldn't copy, and that, my friend, is your real power. Light? It can be borrowed, stolen, even snuffed out in an instant, leaving cold, empty darkness behind. But a flame? A flame is something else entirely. It's alive, wild, untamed. It dances defiantly against the wind and rain, refusing to be silenced no matter how fierce the storm. While others basked briefly in the spotlight, bright, flashy, and fleeting, you were the steady, fierce flame burning quietly but powerfully, never giving an inch to the darkness. Your light might have been borrowed once or twice, maybe from fame, from hollow approval, or shallow influence, but your flame, that came from deep within. It was forged in trials no one else wanted to face. This flame doesn't crave attention or applause. It simply is, raw, relentless, real. A fire that warms when the world is cold, illuminates when all hope seems lost, and guides even in the darkest night. Your flame was born in the moments you thought you'd be crushed, in the silence when everyone else gave up on you. It burned brighter when you were alone, exhausted, broken, because real fire grows strongest when fed by struggle. While the world's lights flicker and fade with ease, your flame burns eternal, powered by resilience and pure, unshakable will. You didn't wait for permission to shine. You didn't ask for anyone's blessing. You simply burned, fierce, fearless, unstoppable, lighting your own way, and whether you knew it or not, lighting the paths for others too. Your flame is a rare power, one that can't be bought, copied, or manufactured. It comes only from surviving the worst and choosing every day to keep burning. Every flicker tells a story of survival, courage, and hope that refuses to die. It's a light that doesn't blind but reveals the truth. A beacon for those lost in darkness. A reminder that real strength comes from inside. They relied on borrowed light that vanished with the slightest breeze. But your flame, it became a force of nature. Unstoppable, authentic, eternal. You're not just someone who shines. You are the fire that ignites the world. No storm, no doubt, no struggle can ever put out the blaze deep inside you. They had the light, but you were the flame. And flames don't just survive. Flames transform. That, my friend, is what legends are made of. They didn't see you when the walls felt like they were closing in, when every breath felt like a war cry stuck in your throat. They didn't see the mess, the chaos inside your head, the silent screams behind your smile. They think you're strong now? Huh? They have no idea. You didn't just climb out of a hole, you dragged yourself out with bleeding hands, no applause, no help, just grit and guts. You weren't born tough, you were broken first. Shattered, stomped on, and left behind. And somehow, through all that pain, you turned into a force they couldn't cage. There were days you wanted to give up. Admit it. Days when your heart was heavy and your soul felt numb. When the world moved on like your tears didn't matter. But you stayed. Not because it was easy, but because something deep inside you refused to break. That's the fire no one talks about. That silent rage, that quiet fury in your bones whispering, not like this. That's where your power was born, not in comfort, not in praise, in the dirt, in the dark, in the forgotten corners of your story. And yeah, they smiled. They smiled while you bled. They clapped for the actors, the performers, the ones who knew how to pretend. But you were real. You weren't playing a part. You were surviving. You weren't rehearsing strength. You were becoming it. And that's the difference. They were building a brand. You were building scars. They had followers. You had flames. They had moments. You had battlefields. You didn't ask for validation. You didn't beg for recognition. You earned every inch of who you are now through rejection, through silence, through the nights no one checked in and the mornings where your only cheerleader was your own heartbeat, stubbornly keeping time like a war drum. Boom, boom, boom. And with every beat, you rose. With every breath, you reclaimed your worth. You turned pain into momentum. You turned setbacks into fuel. And now, you walk into rooms carrying storms in your veins and lightning in your stare. Let them wonder how you made it. Let them whisper, Let them guess. You don't owe them your scars. You don't owe them your truth. All you owe is to yourself, to never forget what you had to survive to stand here. That fire they see in your eyes, that's not attitude, that's history. That's pain that didn't get the final word. That's every time you were counted out, only to write your own comeback. That's you becoming what they never saw coming. This isn't about proving them wrong anymore. This is about proving you were right to keep going. Every time you wiped your own tears, every time you stood back up, you're not here by accident. You're here because you fought, because you refused to fade out. And now, you don't just survive, you own the fire. You are the storm. And storms don't apologize. You ever felt like the world was moving too fast, and you were just stuck? Like you're screaming inside, but no one even blinks? Yeah, that silence, that's what built you. That's what carved your backbone out of stone. While they were busy being seen, being liked, being shared, you were busy surviving what would have crushed them. You weren't crafting a highlight reel. You were crawling through hell with your fists clenched, eyes burning, and heart refusing to die out. And nobody handed you a map. Nobody threw you a rope. You learned to build bridges from the pieces of yourself that shattered along the way. Let's be real. They'll never understand your grind. They'll never know what it's like to walk into a room where no one claps for you, no one roots for you, and still, you bring your full self like you're already legendary. That's not ego. That's legacy. That's what happens when you've been overlooked so long that you stop waiting to be noticed and start becoming undeniable. You didn't get here by luck. You didn't stumble into this moment. You battled your way here, day by brutal day. They called it quiet. You called it pressure. They called it rest. You called it war. Because even in your stillness, you were fighting battles nobody could see. And the crazy part? You still showed up. Broken, tired, doubting yourself. But you showed up. You pushed forward with cracked ribs and stitched up dreams. And every step forward wasn't just a move. It was a statement. A roar. A message that said, I'm still here. I'm not done. And I will not fade quietly. They'll look at you now and say you're lucky. Lucky? They weren't there when you were falling apart and pretending to be fine. When your own thoughts were loud enough to drown your spirit. When every move felt like dragging chains behind you. And still, you rose. You kept showing up for a life that didn't clap back. That's not luck. That's unbreakable will. And now you carry a silence that screams. A presence that speaks louder than any flex. You walk into spaces with history written in your bones, pain tattooed across your smile, and purpose dripping from every breath. And still, you don't gloat, you don't bark, you don't chase, because the ones who've really been through it, they don't have to prove a thing. Their existence is proof. So the next time someone asks how you did it, just smile. Smile like they smiled when you were down. Smile like they smiled when they counted you out. And let that smile say everything. You thought I was done. I was just becoming. Because you're not here to compete. You're here to claim. You're not chasing followers. You're chasing fire. And the best part? You don't need a stage. You are the show. And this is just the beginning. You saw the masks, the shows, and the applause, but now you know the real story. Legends aren't made by playing the part. They're made by living through the pain and rising stronger. If this message spoke to your soul, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Twist Mind. Together, we'll keep breaking limits and rewriting what's possible. Until next time, stay relentless and keep twisting your mind.